Mira loved collecting old things, especially those with interesting stories behind them. One day, she found an old, leather-bound journal in a dusty, forgotten bookstore in the city. The journal looked ancient, with yellowed pages, but what really caught her attention was a handwritten note on the inside cover. They were the stories that come to life. Curious, Mira bought the journal and took it home, excited to read what was inside. That night, by the light of a candle, she opened the journal and started reading. The first story was about a lonely woman who lived in an old creepy mansion, haunted by strange noises at night. As Mira read, she felt a sudden chill in the room, like the air had turned cold. She brushed it off and kept reading, but as the story went on, she felt more and more uneasy. The mansion in the story seemed oddly familiar, almost as if it was describing her own house. Even the noises in the story matched the creaks and groans she sometimes heard at night, but always ignored. Suddenly, the candle flickered and went out, leaving Mira in complete darkness. Her heart began to race as she heard a faint sound, a soft whisper, barely there, but definitely real. She grabbed her flashlight with shaking hands, and when she finally managed to turn it on, she gasped in horror. She was no longer in her cozy living room. Instead, she found herself in the very mansion she had been reading about. The wallpaper was peeling, the furniture was covered in dust, and it smelled old and musty. She heard the whisper again, closer now, followed by the sound of footsteps echoing down the empty hallways. Mira realized, terrified, that she had somehow been pulled into a story where the woman never escaped the haunted mansion. She tried to find her way out, but the house kept changing, leading her deeper into the nightmare. The whispers got louder, and doors began creaking open and shut on their own. Panicking, Mira ran from room to room, but every door only led her further into the dark. In her frantic search, she found a mirror, and when she looked into it, she didn't see her reflection. Instead, she saw the woman from the story, her eyes white with fear, her mouth frozen in a silent scream. Suddenly, the journal appeared in her hands again, open to the last page of the story. The final sentence was writing itself. The woman would be trapped forever, her screams lost in the echoes of the haunted halls. The words bled into the paper, and Mira felt her own voice being taken away, her body growing cold as she became part of the story. The next day, the journal was found on a dusty shelf in another antique shop, waiting for the next curious reader. The shopkeeper, not knowing its dark secret, simply smiled as he placed it among the other old books, ready to be discovered by the next unsuspecting soul.